Across the United States, flu activity is rising steadily, and health experts are making it clear that this season is not a mild one that can be brushed aside. Clinics, urgent care centers, and hospitals are seeing a growing number of people coming in with cough, fatigue, body aches, and breathing problems. And this trend is expected to continue for several more weeks. Reports from public health agencies show that millions of Americans have already been infected, with tens of thousands requiring hospital care and thousands losing their lives. What makes this especially concerning is that the flu season has not yet reached its peak, meaning the heaviest impact may still be ahead. For everyday Americans, this shows up in very real ways. Longer wait times at doctors' offices, crowded emergency rooms, and an increased chance of being exposed to illness while shopping, traveling, or visiting loved ones. The strain is particularly noticeable in large cities, where hospitals are reporting some of the busiest flu-related weeks they've seen in years. The dominant flu strain circulating right now is spreading quickly, and while many people think of the flu as something they've dealt with before, this season is proving to be more aggressive than what many remember. The reality is that flu viruses change over time, and each season brings new challenges, which is why past experiences don't guarantee protection. Another important factor is timing. Flu activity often builds gradually, which can create a false sense of security early on. People may delay taking precautions because they feel fine or haven't seen many cases in their immediate circle yet. By the time flu numbers become impossible to ignore, the virus is already widespread in communities. This is why health officials continue to stress awareness, even for those who feel healthy. Everyday routines like grocery shopping, attending community events, or riding public transportation now carry a higher risk of exposure than they did just weeks ago. For many Americans, especially those living with family or caring for grandchildren, this rise in flu cases affects not only personal health, but also daily responsibilities and peace of mind. Schools, workplaces, and healthcare systems all feel the ripple effects, creating a cycle where illness spreads faster and resources are stretched thinner. Understanding that the flu season is actively intensifying helps people make smarter choices before they are forced to react to illness. This isn't about panic or fear. It's about recognizing that the situation is unfolding now, not later. When people understand that flu activity is climbing and hasn't peaked yet, they're better prepared to protect themselves, adjust routines, and take early steps that can prevent serious problems down the road. For Americans over 60, the rising flu season carries a level of danger that is often underestimated, even by people who consider themselves generally healthy. As the body ages, the immune system does not respond as quickly or as strongly as it once did, which means viruses like the flu can take hold faster and cause more damage. What might feel like a rough week in bed for a younger adult can turn into a serious medical emergency for an older person. Across the U.S., adults over 65 consistently account for the highest percentage of flu-related hospital stays and deaths every single season, and that pattern has not changed. The reason goes beyond age alone. Many seniors live with long-term conditions such as high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, or chronic lung problems. When the flu enters the body, it places extra stress on every system at once, raising heart rate, increasing inflammation, and making breathing more difficult. This added strain can trigger complications that appear suddenly and escalate quickly. A mild cough can progress into pneumonia within days, leaving someone short of breath even while walking a few steps across the room. For older adults, pneumonia is especially dangerous because it limits oxygen delivery to the body, making recovery slower and increasing the risk of long hospital stays. The flu can also affect the heart. During infection, the body works overtime, which can push an already stressed cardiovascular system beyond its limits. Many hospital admissions during flu season involve seniors who arrive with worsening heart symptoms that were stable just weeks earlier. Another overlooked danger is how the flu affects strength and balance. Older adults do not always develop high fevers, which can delay recognition of the illness. Instead, early signs may include unusual weakness, trouble standing, dizziness, or confusion. These symptoms significantly raise the risk of falls at home, especially in bathrooms, kitchens, or during nighttime trips to the restroom. A single fall can result in broken hips, head injuries, or permanent loss of independence, outcomes that are far more life-altering than the flu itself. The flu also tends to worsen existing health problems quietly. Blood sugar levels can become harder to control in people with diabetes. Lung conditions can flare up, leading to tightness in the chest and labored breathing. Dehydration can set in faster, thickening the blood and increasing the risk of stroke. What makes this especially concerning is that these changes can happen before someone realizes how sick they truly are. Many seniors delay seeking care because they don't want to overreact or burden their family. But this hesitation can be costly. In the US, flu-related deaths among older adults are rarely sudden events. They often follow a series of escalating complications that might have been prevented with earlier action. Beyond the physical risks, there is also an emotional toll. The fear of becoming dependent, missing family gatherings, or losing the ability to live independently weighs heavily on many seniors. Flu season amplifies these concerns because illness can temporarily or permanently reduce mobility and confidence. Understanding that people over 60 face a much higher risk is not about creating fear. It is about clarity. When seniors recognize that their age group is uniquely vulnerable, they are more likely to take preventive steps seriously. Pay attention to subtle changes in how they feel and act quickly when something seems off. This awareness can make the difference between recovering safely at home and facing a life-threatening hospitalization. Many older Americans wonder if the shot is still worth it, especially if they have heard stories of people getting sick despite being vaccinated. What often gets missed in those conversations is what the flu vaccine is truly designed to do. Its greatest value is not just preventing infection altogether, but reducing how severe the illness becomes if infection happens. For seniors, that difference can be life-saving. Studies across the US consistently show that vaccinated older adults are far less likely to be hospitalized, require intensive care, or die from flu-related complications compared to those who skip the shot. Even in seasons when the circulating virus is slightly different from what scientists predicted, vaccination still lowers the overall risk in a meaningful way. As people age, their immune response becomes weaker and slower, which is why doctors often recommend high-dose or enhanced flu vaccines for those over 60 or 65. These versions are designed to give the immune system a stronger signal, helping the body recognize and fight the virus more effectively. For many seniors, this added protection can mean the difference between managing symptoms at home and facing a long hospital stay. Another important point is timing. Some people believe that if they didn't get vaccinated early in the fall, it's too late to bother. In reality, flu activity often continues well into late winter and even early spring. Getting vaccinated later still provides protection for the remainder of the season. While it takes about 2 weeks for immunity to build fully, that window is still far better than having no protection at all. For older Americans who regularly interact with family, attend community events, or visit medical offices, vaccination adds a critical buffer against severe illness. The flu vaccine also has benefits beyond preventing flu complications alone. Research has shown that vaccination can reduce the risk of flu-related heart problems, which are a major concern for seniors with a history of heart disease or high blood pressure. When the body is fighting infection, the heart works harder, and vaccination helps lower the chance that this stress will trigger a serious cardiac event. This is especially relevant in daily American life, where many seniors aim to stay active, care for grandchildren, or live independently. A severe flu episode can disrupt all of that in an instant. Another reason vaccination matters is how it affects the healthcare system as a whole. During busy flu seasons, hospitals and emergency rooms can become overwhelmed. Seniors who avoid severe illness through vaccination are less likely to face delays in care or crowded facilities when they do need medical attention. This indirectly protects quality of care for everyone. Some older adults worry about side effects, but most reactions are mild, such as a sore arm or brief fatigue, and they fade within a day or two. Compared to the risks of flu complications, these effects are minimal. Choosing to get vaccinated is not about chasing perfection or assuming it guarantees you won't get sick. It's about stacking the odds in your favor. For Americans over 60, the flu shot is a practical, proven step that supports staying out of the hospital, protecting independence, and reducing the chance that a seasonal virus turns into a life-altering event. Many seniors in the U.S. are used to waiting it out, hoping a few days of rest, soup, and over-the-counter medicine will be enough. That approach can be risky at this stage of life. The flu behaves differently in older bodies. Symptoms may start quietly, without a high fever, and by the time it feels serious, the virus may already be placing heavy strain on the lungs, heart, and entire system. This is why doctors stress the importance of seeking care within the first 24 to 48 hours of flu symptoms. That short window matters. When antiviral medications are started early, they can shorten how long the illness lasts, reduce how intense the symptoms become, and most importantly, lower the risk of hospitalization and life-threatening complications. For seniors who value staying independent and avoiding long hospital stays, this early step can make a meaningful difference. Antiviral treatment is not about curing the flu overnight. It's about slowing the virus down so the body has a better chance to fight back. For older adults, whose immune systems respond more slowly, that extra help can prevent the infection from tipping into pneumonia or worsening existing conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or lung problems. In everyday American life, this means fewer emergency room visits, fewer ambulance rides, and a better chance of recovering safely at home. Another reason early care is so important is that flu symptoms in seniors don't always look dramatic. Instead of high fever, early signs may include unusual fatigue, weakness in the legs, dizziness, confusion, or a sudden loss of appetite. These changes are easy to dismiss as just a bad day, but during flu season, they should be taken seriously. Acting early does not mean panic. It means being attentive. A simple phone call to a primary care provider or an urgent care visit can open the door to timely treatment. Many older Americans hesitate because they don't want to bother their doctor or fear being told to rest at home anyway. In reality, healthcare providers would much rather see patients early, when options are effective, than later, when complications are harder to control. Early treatment also helps protect others. Reducing the severity and duration of illness lowers the chance of spreading the virus to a spouse, family member, or caregiver. This is especially important in multi-generational households or senior communities. Preparing ahead of time can make early action easier. Keeping a doctor's phone number visible, knowing where the nearest urgent care is, and having transportation options planned removes hesitation when symptoms begin. For Americans over 60, recognizing that early treatment is a strength, not an overreaction, can change outcomes. Acting quickly turns flu care from a crisis response into a proactive decision that protects health, independence, and peace of mind. If there is one piece of personal advice worth acting on immediately, it is this. Stop thinking of flu prevention as something complicated or medical, and start treating it as part of your everyday routine, just like making coffee or locking the door before bed. Begin with vaccination if you haven't already. Even late in the season, the flu shot can still reduce how severe the illness becomes. It's not about perfection. It's about lowering risk. Think of it like wearing a seatbelt. You may never need it, but when you do, it can save your life. Next, make hand hygiene automatic. Wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds after coming home, before eating, and after being in public places. Keep a small bottle of hand sanitizer by the door or in your car so you don't have to think twice. This single habit blocks one of the most common ways the virus enters your body. Wearing a mask in crowded indoor spaces is another small choice with big payoff. Clinics, pharmacies, buses, and packed stores are high-risk zones for seniors. A mask may feel inconvenient, but it can spare you weeks of illness or a hospital stay. Avoiding close contact with people who are coughing or sick is not rude. It's smart. You don't owe anyone your health. Prioritize your immune system daily by sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, drinking water regularly throughout the day, and eating balanced meals with protein, fruits, and vegetables. Dehydration and poor sleep quietly weaken the body's defenses, making infections hit harder. If you have chronic conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, or lung issues, stay consistent with your medications. Never stop or change them on your own when you feel sick. The flu often becomes dangerous, not because of the virus alone, but because it destabilizes conditions that were otherwise controlled. One of the most important habits I recommend is having a clear plan before you get sick. Write down your doctor's phone number, the nearest urgent care, and which hospital you would go to in an emergency. Put it on the fridge or by your phone. This removes hesitation when time matters. Finally, promise yourself that you will act early. If you feel unusually weak, confused, dizzy, or exhausted during flu season, don't wait. Seek medical care within the first 24 to 48 hours. Early treatment can shorten illness, prevent complications, and keep you out of the hospital. This is not overreacting. It's being responsible with your health. These steps are not extreme, expensive, or difficult. They fit real American life. Taken together, they form a safety net that protects your independence, your home, your peace of mind. Start with one habit today, add another tomorrow, and let consistency do the rest. Flu prevention is not about luck. It's about small choices that quietly keep you strong. Flu cases are rising, hospitals in many cities are under pressure, and older adults continue to make up the majority of severe cases. Yet the goal is not fear, it is preparation. From my perspective, the biggest mistake seniors make is waiting until they feel truly sick before taking action. By then, the body is already under stress. The smarter approach is to build protection into daily life before symptoms ever appear. Start with vaccination if you have not already done so. Even later in the season, a flu shot can reduce the chance of severe illness, hospitalization, and long recovery periods. Think of it as reducing the odds, not eliminating risk completely. That mindset alone helps people act instead of hesitating. Next, treat hand washing like a non-negotiable habit. Soap and water for 20 seconds after coming home, before meals, and after being in public spaces is one of the simplest and most effective defenses. Keep hand sanitizer in your car, purse, or jacket pocket, so there is no excuse to skip it. These small routines quietly block the virus before it ever reaches your body. Wearing a mask in crowded indoor places is another practical layer of protection, especially in clinics, pharmacies, buses, and grocery stores during busy hours. This is not about politics or panic. It is about acknowledging that flu viruses spread easily through the air and that older immune systems need extra support. Avoiding close contact with people who are coughing or sick is not being unfriendly. It is being responsible. You are protecting your independence, not just your comfort. Daily habits matter just as much as these preventive steps. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Drink water steadily throughout the day instead of waiting until you feel thirsty. And eat balanced meals with enough protein, fruits, and vegetables to support your immune system. Dehydration and poor sleep quietly weaken your defenses and make recovery harder if you do get sick. If you manage chronic conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, or lung problems, consistency with medication is critical. Never stop or adjust your meds on your own during illness, because the flu often becomes dangerous by destabilizing conditions that were otherwise under control. One personal piece of advice I strongly recommend is creating a simple flu action plan today, not later. Write down your doctor's phone number, the nearest urgent care, and which hospital you would go to in an emergency, then place that information somewhere visible. When symptoms appear, hesitation wastes valuable time. Finally, promise yourself that you will act early. If you notice unusual fatigue, weakness, confusion, dizziness, or respiratory symptoms during flu season, seek medical care within 24 to 48 hours. Early treatment can shorten illness and prevent serious complications. This is not overreacting. It is smart self-care. These steps are realistic, affordable, and fit real American life. When done together, they form a strong safety net that protects your health, your home, and your independence. Start today with one habit, then build from there. Prevention works best when it becomes routine, and routine is what keeps you well.